Spiral Throwers, welcome back. Today, the Wilson 1005 used to be the NCAA football of choice. There's some great pictures floating around these days of Cordell Stewart throwing this thing for Colorado, thanks to Shedeur Gate from last week in the draft. 5th round, is that correct? Is that the right pick for him? Is that the right round for him? I don't know. Doing some comparisons here between silhouettes and leathers. Some stuff you may frequently see. This is the LBC Broken in CFL ball. This is Wilson's WE leather. I don't know much about it. Horween product, obviously, but that's about all I know. I'll note before we start the video that I took all these these extended shots in slow motion mode. I don't know. Blame it on lack of sleep, I guess, or whatever. But yeah, I had to speed these up, and they're still kind of slow, so there won't be a lot of talking in these videos, but rather a lot of lo-fi free music from Clipchamp and some ball break-in. So I tried to use the Leather Honey with the microfiber cloth on this ball, but I can't get into it, man. I really do like the gloves better. They're easier. These are just like straight nitrile gloves. I bought a box of them off Amazon, I should say, for like $13. Worth it. You can use them a few times as long as you're not doing anything crazy with them. I'm not taping in the white stripes because, as you guys can see, they are painted and not stitched. So no need to do that. Just waiting here for the next step, which is the mudding. I'm probably in the background preparing the mud with Leather Honey. One of you guys asked me in the comments a day or two ago how much Leather Honey is too much or not enough. To be honest with you, I don't know. It's hard for me to tell because I don't measure anything. I just kind of do it by feel. And what I'm looking for is a texture, a consistency. It's sort of like a thick paint. It's not quite liquidy. It's not a finger paint or a water-based paint like you would get in an elementary school classroom. It's a thick paint. It's goopy almost. And I think that the reason you want it that consistency, well, there's two reasons really. One probably more practical than the other. The practical reason is because as far as application goes, it's way easier to rub into leather if it's a little bit goopy and not watery. If it's watery, it's going to be dripping all over the place. The toothbrush isn't going to do anything. Your gloves are not going to do anything. It's going to be all over your towel, all over your tables. You don't want that. I think the practical reason is enough, but the other reason is I am pretty sure that the thickness reflects how much water you took out and then how much conditioner you added in. I've mentioned this before. I think a big part of the mudding process, again, not a pro, just a guy in his basement who likes doing this, and you guys seem to enjoy it too. I think the big thing about mudding is that you have to take out the water content and replace it with something that's leather friendly to help the mud work and to darken the ball and soften the ball if that's what you're looking for. If you own leather boots, you know that water and leather don't get along. You'll often find yourself putting on stuff, especially in the winter, that helps waterproof the boots and keep moisture out. You store them in a place that's moisture free, and the reason for that is because leather and water, it dries out the product, and you don't want that. Certainly not in a football. On boots, it's a different story. Probably a little more forgiving. Obviously, you're walking in them, but as a quarterback, you don't want to have a ball that's dry. You want to have a ball that's soft and a little tacky. So let's watch this application here. Funny, I was joking with some people on the Bitcoin channel the other week, the Canadian Bitcoiners podcast, which you should check out if you haven't checked out yet. And someone in the chat, a young woman in the chat, told me that these football videos are erotic in nature. I don't know if that's because of the black, BDSM gloves, or because of the voiceovers, or because of the lotions. It's hard for me to say, but yeah, I don't know. Tell me what you think. Actually, you know what? I don't want to hear what you think about that. Let's just watch the application here and then come back for the next step. So here we are in the garage doing the brushing, man, using the LBC brush first. I ended up going back to the Wilson brush in a second, but only because, as I mentioned before, this is a bit of a patient exercise, and I like leaving the conditioner on after this step for quite a while, a few hours minimum. So yeah, taking your time, get a towel out, go somewhere where there's a little bit of ventilation. You can see my garage doors open a little bit. Funny how great a middle-aged man's garage is this. There's a car seat there given to me by a friend, I'm sure out of the goodness of their heart, but definitely help them get some room in their basement back. A bike that needs a tune-up, although I did ride it to work the week after I did this video. You can see there a ladder that I only use for Christmas lights, dried up flowers from my wedding that my wife wants to keep but will almost certainly never be used. Looks like a cat carrier, maybe right next to my forehead. I'm pretty sure. My cat hates the vet, but we need the carrier to get him there. And then there's an Achilles boot, I'm pretty sure, right below that shelf. I've torn my Achilles and torn my ACL, MCL, meniscus. I think I did my ACL, MCL when I was like 23-ish. And my Achilles I did 2 years ago. And both those injuries are said to be severe, but I found that I was back to pretty much like 80, 85% in 5 months and 100% by like month 9. So I don't know, take your rehab seriously, I guess. Is that the lesson? And don't get fat. You know, getting fat when you get injured is a bad idea. It's going to cost you big time, especially the older you get. More features of a middle-aged man's garage there. The jerry can and stepladder, hose reel with nothing on it. God, I turned into my father so fast. Look at, they got the tires in the bag too. That's so funny. Anyway, brushing, keep a towel down. I ended up using the towel a little bit at the end. You'll see, even though the video is sped up, just to get off some of the dirt. This, for whatever reason, the mud that I put on this ball, I just could not get it off with these brushes. It doesn't help that the Wilson brush I have is like almost 2 years old now, and it's been through a lot of this, probably more than it's expected to go through as a retail product, but still does the job. I rinsed it after this before I put the wax on as well, as I mentioned in the last video for the GST. That's a good idea. Take your time, no rush. I don't throw this ball primarily. I don't plan on throwing it primarily, although I do want to try it in a game. But I didn't need to get this done with any haste. So what you see here is what I would call the slow process. Yeah, you see me picking there off a little bit of mud. But yeah, this took me, I think all said, maybe like 15 minutes if I had to guess. And it's, you know, it's a bit of a pain because brushing, I'll be honest with you, is difficult, but there's not much you can do. You have to get it done. I prefer this. I think I would prefer this to the auto brush because you do want to brush the mud into the ball, as the pros say and do, and not off of the ball. And I think you can only do that with the nylon brush. So let's keep watching, and we'll come back for the next step. So you can kind of see what I'm doing there. I'm trying to get some of the particulate off the brush in between sessions, I guess. It's certainly not in between strokes, but in between sessions with the towel. It does help. I don't know if it's required, but I find that it does help when a ball is difficult. I didn't brush the dimples down on this ball almost at all. So little bit more of an extended brushing process, just using the towel to get some stuff off. And then I went for, instead of Leather Honey on this one, Wilson conditioner, the prep conditioner. 2 reasons. One, I'm not planning on selling this ball, and I like a tacky ball when I'm throwing. So you could use Leather Honey if you want to break for softness, then add tack later. The balls that I sell, the GSTs, that's what I do. But the balls that I'm going to use, give me the Wilson Honey or the Wilson leather conditioner over the Leather Honey. And then you can see there, I just have the gloves on. It's a dirty process. Don't be worried if when you're using the conditioner, it's like muddy in your hands. You're never going to get all the mud off these balls, and you don't have to. You will take off more in the brushing process to follow. And you'll see actually that when we review the finished product, it's quite good. I think you're going to like it quite a bit. So sit back, relax, and I will be right back with the final product. Okay, so you'll have to forgive me for my dirty shirt. Any fathers out there will know that you just never really have any idea what you're going to get into with a little one eating around you. But anyway, it's been about a week since I did the first part of the video, full disclosure. But I haven't done anything else to the ball besides brush it, put a little wax on it, because I kind of want to bring it as a backup ball tomorrow. This is the 1005. It's no longer in production. I'm not sure why. I would guess they just replaced this with the GST, which is the 1003 silhouette. This is quite narrow and quite light and doesn't have any, features that you might see on the GST. No extra spin rate and no stitched in striping, no full stripe. It's a half stripe like the rest of the NCAA balls. And it's just a simple rock. The reason I picked this up is because most of the old head quarterbacks in my league play with this ball. I don't know why, and or I didn't know why, I should say, but now that I've held it, thrown it a bit inside, and just kind of handled it for a week, it is a really nice silhouette. I'll compare it here quickly to the F2000. So these are both Wilson balls. Obviously, you can see, what's the best way to do this? Maybe something like this, comparing the laces. You can see the F2000 is a little more round and has a quicker dive to the tip of the ball. The ball is shorter, really hard to see because I'm wearing a black shirt, but the ball is shorter than the 1005 is. And the angles on the silhouette, I'm going to back up a little bit. You can kind of see that, right? Bit different. Like I said before, the Wilson F2000 and the CFL ball are, I think, a more modern silhouette, what some people would call a more modern silhouette. At least that's what I thought. Do you know what this ball looks and feels like in hand? The Vapor Elite. The silhouettes are very close. Again, I'll back up and try and just yell a bit so you can hear me talk. The silhouettes are very close. They're very narrow balls, and the dive angle almost identical. So Nike obviously realized in their process that people liked this 1005 silhouette and opted to go with it. This ball, as far as throwing, I don't know, I haven't thrown it in a game, but it feels pretty good. It feels light, feels balanced. And I'm a sucker now for balls that don't have the stitch and stripe. I've been playing quarterback for more than a year, and not to toot my own horn, but definitely getting better at it to the point where I would prefer to just have fingers on leather as opposed to fingers on quote unquote striping leather or white leather, whatever those guys call it over at Wilson. But your preference may be different. As far as the break-in, very good. So I'll just pull the F2000 up again. These balls are the same sort of red leather. Wilson says this ball, the 1005, is made of something called WE leather, which is old, no longer production. Like I mentioned, I can't find it anywhere on their website. There's some stuff on Grok about how they manufacture this, but the long and short is that it's still Horween leather, still made in Ohio, and probably has, some kind of treatment process that helps with grip or helps with whatever. Very friendly to the palm here, to the hand. I'll do the stick test on the mic. And for the camera, here's where I'm holding it, okay? I'll squeeze it a bit for you. Pretty good. Good grip. And you'll notice here, like I said before, these were the same colors starting out, and they are more or less the same colors now. So Would I recommend the 1005? Yeah, I honestly, I like this ball. The leather's not quite as soft as it is on the F2000. That could be because of the treatment that I put on this. I did the same thing I did with that ball, but didn't brush it as much. So you see here, there's quite a bit more raised dimpling panel to panel than on this ball, which I really like scraped down as much as I could. And you can hear it in the leather to the touch. Whereas this ball, maybe it's closer than I thought, but this ball definitely does feel a little more grippy, feels more pebbly, which may be your preference. So as usual, guys, questions, comments, criticisms. I don't read the third option there, but if you have any, feel free to put them in the chat, message me on Twitter. I have an Instagram page now called, again, this channel, like dreadfully underprepared for these video updates. My Instagram is, it is Joey's Football Reviews. Great. If you're into that, I throw a couple of videos up every so often. And some of you guys have messaged me on there. Happy to, network with you, communicate with you, whatever. It's exciting to be part of this community. I really do enjoy it. As far as the eBay store, I sold one Wilson GST, prepped another one. I'm going to sell it for a little bit more. The first one I sold for 200. I might try and get 220 for the next one. But if you're a viewer of this channel and you offer me 200, if you tell me in the offer that you offered 200 and you watch the channel, I'll give it to you for 200. I'll do one more for $200, no problem. But yeah, the 1005, vintage almost, right? Nice silhouette. The NCAA stamp there. It's a lot of fun. This ball's going to come with me to my game tomorrow, and hopefully I don't have to throw it because that would mean something happened to my F2000. But if I do, I'd feel good about it. So like I said, comments, questions, hit me up, man. And then, in a few weeks, I'll probably try and do another video, time permitting, obviously. And if there's a ball that comes my way that I like, but no guarantees. So until next time, happy throwing.